Hello and welcome to the Awaken Feminine podcast. I'm your host, KaKi Lee, a mindset coach and healer who's on a mission to share the love and wisdom of inspiring women from around the world who have gone through adversity and turned their pain into purpose. Today, I'm excited to be interviewing fitness business coach, award-winning F45 owner, and founder of the Power Fitness Business System, Maree Sorbello, who I know has so much love and wisdom to share with us today. Do I have you there, Maree?
You do. Happy to be here.
Hi, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. Before we get started, can you tell us a little bit more about you, what you do, and where you're joining me from?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm joining from Sydney. I've been in the fitness industry for almost a decade now, but started up my F45 studio 4 years ago. And the last 12 months or so, I've been mentoring other fitness business owners, which kind of led me towards making that more of a thing and really going down that path. So yeah, really been enjoying helping other people with their fitness business as well.
Love it. So let's dive in. I'm excited to hear more about what your journey. So can you share with us what really sparked your interest in the health and fitness space?
Yeah, for sure. Well, funny story. I actually, when I came out of school, obviously didn't know what I wanted to do, like a lot of people
Yeah.
don't. So I was studying journalism and public relations at university, and I just got a casual job at a gym, just admin and sales type thing, just to get through uni. And then
Yeah.
when I finished uni, I went and got a full-time job, lasted about 4 months, just absolutely hated it, and went back to personal training because I just didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of following that path that things kept moving, and I just followed opportunities, and I ended up having the opportunity to open my F45 studio. And yeah,
Yeah.
things just kind of appeared and I went after them.
Yeah. So so obviously the journalism thing didn't quite work out. So did you like have a heart, like, I mean, you've now moved from personal training to F45 studio owner to now a business coach. Did you have like a aha moment or a spiritual awakening where you're like, oh, I really want to move into becoming an entrepreneur and having something of my own?
Um, yes and no. I've always had this kind of calling, I guess, to do more. And I've always wanted big things, and I've always wanted to kind of be able to help people in the process. So, like I said, it's just kind of following opportunities as they popped up. There wasn't necessarily one particular moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, just seeing other people doing things and just kind of knowing that I can help and wanting to be there to be able to do that is the main thing.
Yeah. So seeing others being successful already and then going, oh, I can do that, and then just following that path.
Yeah, part that, and then part just seeing people struggling that I know that I can help,
Yeah.
and kind of putting the two together.
Yeah. Nice. So having gone through what you've gone through, just like, you know, doing that, all that studying really for nothing, but really finding then your path is in the, fitness space. What is your mission now, now that you're moving to coaching as well? What are you here on this earth to do?
Yeah, so obviously I kind of understand the struggles of business, and I really enjoy all the nitty-gritty parts of business. So my mission now is to just help as many business owners as possible just not have to go through some of the struggles that I went through,
Yeah.
just getting things set up. So just, if I can, stopping them from having to get to that point where they're like, what am I doing? Do I need to sell the business? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And kind of just guiding them through from the start. So they've got the guidance and they can put the systems in place straight away, and they can just at least have some sort of level of comfort and happiness and success as they're building the business, even if they're not quite where they want to be yet.
Yeah. And having that coach is really important, I find, with businesses, because having someone that knows what they're doing to then help you grow, it's crucial, because otherwise you're fumbling around doing everything yourself and not knowing what you're doing. And
Yeah.
yeah, it makes a big difference. So Maree, I want to get a bit more personal with you. Is there a particular experience you've been through that you found the most challenging but really led to your biggest breakthrough?
Yeah. So I guess business wise, the kind of turning point for me was about a year into owning my F45 studio. I had it was a sort of like big moment where I had my partner who'd pretty much built up the studio with me for that first year. It was mostly just myself and him doing things, doing everything,
Yeah.
the marketing, the sales, the training, running classes, like absolutely everything. And we just brought a couple of trainers on board. He left to go and start his studio, so he owns one as well. And I'd had a trainer leave at that time too. So as for culture in the studio, it was just a massive overhaul. There was certain things with that trainer that was said, and things with members and everyone else that was said, and the culture in the gym just went downhill. So I guess from a business owner's point of view, to turn that around, it is super hard to do. There was nasty things said, people weren't happy. Just the whole thing kind of turned around almost overnight. So there's kind of two choices at that point. You either give up and go back to a full-time job and do something else. Well, I guess it's three choices. You can leave it how it is and just plow through it.
Yeah.
Or the third one is that you look to better yourself and you learn more, and you bring in coaches and advisors, and you become a better leader yourself, and you turn it around.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing that whole time since. I had to obviously take a look at where I was, my leadership skills, how I'm running the studio, how I'm looking after my staff, how I'm looking after my members, the retention side of thing, everything else. And not just thinking of it as a business, but actually thinking like, how can I help these people the best way? And how can I turn this culture around? So we're focused on the culture and we're building a community rather than just building this business.
Yeah, I love that. And my just a fun fact, my husband like started F45 at the beginning of the year, and he loves it, and he goes to the 5:15 a.m. class every day. He hasn't missed the class, and it is really about that community, because the culture of a place is bad. When you go in, you feel the bad juju, right? You feel the bad vibes. So you don't want to really go back. So it is, so I love that you've really reflected on what happened and then really started to build that, because it's so important not just to build a business and be in it all about the money, but having that culture and that community. So I love what you were doing and what you are still doing. So how old were you? Because you pretty much went down this path quite, as soon as you finished uni. So how old were you when you started your business?
My F45 studio?
Yeah.
I was 23 when I actually started up the business and signed all the papers and everything to get it going. So very young.
Yeah. Wow. And I want to ask you, like, what did you have any peers or family members that were like, Maree, what are you doing? Why didn't you use your degree? All those kind of things that most people will kind of come out and saying, why are you starting your business at 23? You don't even know what you're doing. Did you have those things that you had to deal with?
I more had those things when I first started personal training, when I was kind of doing it in the middle of my uni degree. People just being like, why? Like, what are you doing personal training for? It's not going to take you anywhere. I did a fitness comp at one point as well. And I remember one of my tutors in uni saying to me, like, fitness isn't going to make you any money in the future. Okay. So it was more when I kind of started down that fitness path. I did have a lot of support when I actually started my studio with my partner as well. So I'm lucky in that regard, but I did have those voices in my head when I did first get into fitness.
And as a young person, you would have been under 20 at that time. What were you feeling? I mean, most 20-year-olds or uni students would go, oh, okay, and listen to the parents or the people giving their opinions. So how did you really stay center into yourself and go, no, well, I'm doing this. This is what I like to do.
Yeah, fitness was just something that I enjoyed doing. And at the same time, I kind of always knew that I wanted to have my own business. So like I said, it was just following opportunities. I remember seeing a Richard Branson quote when I was really young. And it was something like, if you get the chance to do something and you don't know how to do it, take the opportunity and figure it out later. And that's always just stuck with me. So if I see an opportunity come up and I know it's taking me towards where I want to go and I know I can help people out of it, then I'll take it and I'll just see where it leads.
I wish I was as wise as you at that age. I'm like 10 years older than you, I think, at least. And still just starting on my entrepreneurial path. So yeah, kudos to you for really just sticking to it. And hey, fitness is making you money.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm a little bit
You're making
stubborn
a
too,
living
so.
out of it. So Maree, when you were going through that little dip in your business and there was that whole culture change, what were some of the tools or teachers that were really helpful in you rebuilding the business so that it was become something that really works for you?
Yeah, for sure. So I bought a business coach on board. And I had a sales and marketing expert as well. So both internal and external.
Yeah.
The business coach was really good. And a lot of the focus there was both on time management stuff, me making sure that I'm doing what I need to do, not just in my business, but in my life, and finding balance. But also just working on leadership skills and managing other people and emotional intelligence and all of that type of thing. So I see all these business coaches and these specialists and everyone else out there, and all they ever focus on is leads and sales. And that stuff's important. But at that stage where I did have that dip, I would be bringing in 30 to 40 new members a month and losing almost half of them because we just had massive turnover.
Yeah.
So the leads and the sales will get you so far. But at the end of the day, I think you've got to look more inward toward both yourself and your business and focus on the leadership and focus on the people and the retention and the culture and all of those sort of things. And then it will build from the inside out rather than the other way around.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to ask you before you this change, were you doing much mindset work and looking within before no? Yeah, so it was
No.
really that point when you changed your mindset and really looking into that community aspect and looking within that the results changed and came.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when I first started off working in the gym, they did a heap of sales training with me. I obviously have my degree in journalism and public relations as well. So a lot of the marketing side of things I understand.
Yeah.
But when it comes to leadership, I never had any management experience before. I'd never really dealt with people before other than just customers. So the customer service was there, the sales and the marketing was there. But as for mindset or anything along those lines, it just wasn't really something I had really touched before.
Yeah. And
So
it's
that's a wake up call as well.
yeah. And it's great that you actually got a business coach that actually touched on that side of things, right? So it just
Yeah.
all kind of came together for you. So that's perfect. So
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you're an avid reader. I love reading. So I always ask this question. Is there a particular book or even books that have changed your life?
I think the book that kind of started me down the business coach path was Man Up by Bedros Keuilian.
Yeah.
A lot of that just made me kind of step back and think more about the balance in my personal life and how I was actually running my business instead of just the systems of it all.
Yeah.
So that one kind of started me off. And then I've always been a reader, but I'd never really been into like the businessy books. That one started it, and I've just kept reading business stuff since then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was about 4 years ago
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I think once you find the interest in reading certain types of books, you just always tend to just keep, and you want to keep learning as an entrepreneur. You need to keep learning the new skills because everything changes. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Maree, what do you believe is the greatest lesson you've learned in your life so far?
Um, I center very much around leadership now because everything comes down from the top, whether that's your sales system or that's your team or anything in between, your family, what's going on at home. I just think it all centers around leadership.
Yeah.
So leadership is always the problem. Leadership is always the solution.
That's awesome. And it is true. When you have like what you experience, it's the leadership, right? You didn't have all the mindset work and the knowledge of how to be the leader. And then once that changed, then everything kind of fell into place. So, yeah, it is just so important. And even for me, when I was working in the hospital, I'm a hospital pharmacist, just looking at the different leaders at the top makes a big difference to the culture of the hospital as well. And I mean, I'm sure it's all the same in different workplaces. So yeah, that's really, really great lesson to learn. And flowing from that, if you could time travel and go back to a younger version of yourself, what advice would you give yourself?
Probably just get some sort of mentor or a coach or something along those lines sooner. You don't know what you don't know. So I was kind of at that point where my business had plateaued and I didn't know how to take it further. And I knew that, and I knew that without learning something new, I wasn't necessarily going to get any further than where I was. So if I had gotten that coach a year or 2 years earlier, I know I would have got a lot further a lot sooner. So I just think having somebody to help you there, whether that's a family member who's done it before or somebody else who's done it before, as long as they're not just going to tell you what you want to hear, they're going to tell you what you actually need to hear.
Yeah.
But just having someone who knows what they're talking about when it comes to your business, and they have that balance between mindset, time management, what's going on in your personal life, as well as what's actually happening in your business as well. So
Yeah.
you
That's
can't do it
great.
alone.
Yeah, you can't do it alone. And it's so important for people to understand that investing in yourself is the best investment. A lot of
Yeah,
people don't like to invest on themselves because they're like, oh, well, why would I pay that much money to improve myself or improve my business? But it really does make the difference.
yeah, exactly. I spent a lot of money. Some of it was on things that did not work at all. Some of it was
Yeah,
on
right.
things
Yeah.
that did, but that's how we tested it, and that's
Yeah,
how I found what
it's
worked. So
always trial and error with businesses, isn't it? Some things
yeah.
work for some people, some doesn't work for others. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And I want to ask you now, just with everything happening in the world this year with COVID, and there's a lot of different things, changes. There's a lot of people that are changing their life, whether it's starting a new business, losing their job, and trying to find out what they want to do, all those different type of things. So, what advice or recommendation would you give them to help rid of any limiting beliefs or fear that is holding them back from making those necessary changes so that they can have a better life and, yeah, start being the person they meant to be?
Just go for it. Just start with small steps and just start taking action every day. So figure out what that end goal is, figure out what your vision and your mission is, and just do one thing that gets you closer to it every single day. I'm all about learning and I love learning and I will always continue learning, but you got to take action on it too.
Yes.
So know where you're going and get that vision sorted and just do one small thing towards it every day.
Yeah. Great advice. So important to take the action. It's all good just thinking about your vision. And if you don't do
Yeah.
anything, you're not going to get there, right? And also
Yeah.
on the flip side, taking action but not knowing where you're going, that doesn't help either because you're just like
Yeah.
drifting along, getting nowhere. So, yeah,
Yeah.
vision and action. Beautiful.
That's it.
So I want to take a little bit of a turn because on my journey of like personal growth and everything else, my biggest lesson was self-love. So as a busy entrepreneur, I mean, you're coaching people how to build their businesses up or improve their business, and also you've got your own F45 studio, and you probably like with your partner, you guys do things together as well with your two studios and all those kind of things, and you've got your own life as well that you need to balance everything. What do you do to make sure like that you give yourself some self-love? So what are the top three things that you really love to do?
Yeah, so one of them's just making sure I go outside in the sun for like 5 minutes a day. So just make sure I have like a break in between when I'm doing work and I'll just go sit outside in the sun with my dogs.
Nice.
So dogs are the best. They always cheer me up. But yeah, just getting some sun and making sure I actually go outside, because I'm pretty sure there was a point in my business where I didn't go outside for about a year because I was just working all the time. So it's simple. Everyone has time to go outside. 5 minutes in the sun. I love reading. So I usually have about 3 different books on the go, maybe one that's like a business related one that's just fiction, and ones that just interest me somehow.
Yeah.
And I just read them based on what mood I'm in or what I'm doing for the day, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, the next one's just making time to go out and do something different. So whether that's going for a day trip somewhere or going for the beach or going away for the weekend, I just like doing different things, trying different food. getting different experiences under my belt. So just going out and making sure I do something different and keep things fresh.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Maree, I just absolutely love what you're doing. And it's really nice to see someone like starting it from such an early age and really just yeah keep going on and really building that business around this and believing in themselves and just taking action is just beautiful to see. Before we wrap up, I'd like you to share with us what right now is setting your soul on fire.
Yeah, so I guess the biggest thing for me right now is obviously 2020 has just totally accentuated anything that's going on. So whether it's something good that's really working for people, it's either made that massive, or whether it's a little crack that was showing for people, like it's obviously just accentuated that as well. So for me especially, like I'm seeing a lot of people struggling right now, especially in the States and down in Victoria. There's just some crazy stuff going on, and I honestly I just want to help as many people as I possibly can. So that early stage in my business, it wasn't nice, but I can't even imagine having to go through something like that now with everything that's going on in the world and the restrictions and just people being scared as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just on a mission and I just want to help as many people as I possibly can.
Love that. Thank you, Marie. Thank you so much for sharing your love and wisdom with us today. If people want to find out more about you and how they can work with you, where should they go?
Best place is my Instagram, so it's just Maree Sorbello, or you can reach out to me on Facebook if you have me on there as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll have all your details and any recommended resources available in the show notes so people can reach out to you. Thank you once again.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And until next time, I love you, I believe in you, and you are worth taking that first step to the life of your dreams.